Most people plan their money, but not their days. That's a problem. When people think about early retirement, they usually focus on one question: do I have enough money? That question matters, and I'm going to talk about it here, but it's only part of the story. Retirement is not just a financial transition, it is a life transition. Over the years, I've noticed that people spend countless hours calculating investment returns, running retirement projections, and debating withdrawal rates. Yet many spend very little time thinking about what they will actually do after they retire. Hi, my name is Melody. These are the steps that I followed before I retired early, and each one of them helped me to feel confident and ready to retire. So if you're considering early retirement, here are 5 things I believe you should do before you leave your career behind. Number 1, know your number. The first step is understanding how much money you need to retire. This is not about finding a magic number that works for everyone. Your number depends on your spending, your goals, your age, your risk tolerance, and the kind of retirement you want to create. Before I retired, I built a retirement financial model. And here's the link to that video. I wanted to understand not only whether my plan worked under ideal conditions, but also whether it could survive difficult markets, inflation, and unexpected events. A good retirement model helps answer important questions. First, do you have enough to support the lifestyle that you want and retire at the age that you want? Then you can stress test it to check different scenarios. What happens if the market declines shortly after you retire? What if inflation stays elevated? What if you live longer than expected? You don't need to build a perfect model, but you do need a reasonable understanding of whether your resources can support your lifestyle. Retirement becomes much less stressful when you can replace uncertainty with a thoughtful plan. 2, test drive your budget. Once you know your number, the next step is testing your retirement budget before you quit your job. It's one of the most valuable exercises you can do. Create a monthly retirement budget and live on it for 3 to 6 months. Pretend you are already retired, at least with regards to your budget. If you plan to spend $5,000 per month in retirement, practice living on that amount today. This accomplishes several things. First, it helps you discover whether your budget is realistic. Numbers on a spreadsheet often look very different when they become real life. Second, it helps identify spending categories that may need adjustment. You might find that some expenses are lower than expected and others higher. Third, it builds confidence. If you have already been living successfully on your retirement budget for several months, the transition into retirement feels much less intimidating. Remember, the goal is not perfection. The goal is learning. A budget is simply a tool to help you align your spending with the life you want to live. If you want to see how I organized my retirement budget, you can see this video. 3, plan for healthcare coverage. For early retirees, healthcare is often one of the biggest concerns. Unlike traditional retirees who move directly into Medicare, early retirees may need coverage for several years before becoming eligible. The good news is that there are options. Depending on your situation, you may have access to employer retiree benefits, COBRA, a spouse's plan, Affordable Care Act marketplace coverage, or other alternatives. Before you retire, spend time researching what is available to you and estimate your costs. Healthcare deserves special attention because it affects both your finances and your quality of life. I would also encourage you to think beyond insurance coverage. Retirement is a wonderful opportunity to invest in your health. Consider how you will stay active, how you will manage stress, and how you will improve your sleep, and how you will support your overall well-being in retirement. The healthier you are, the more you can enjoy the freedom you worked so hard to achieve. 4, plan your retirement paycheck. One thing that surprised me was how different it feels to spend money from investments instead of receiving a paycheck from an employer. Accumulating money and spending money are different skills. Before retiring, create a plan for how your money will actually reach your checking account. Which accounts will you withdraw from first? Will withdrawals come from taxable accounts, retirement accounts, cash reserves, or some combination of sources? Do you want the process to be automated, or would you rather manage it manually each month? And don't forget about taxes. Depending on your situation, you may need to set aside money for quarterly estimated tax payments. Your plan does not have to be perfect, and it does not need to be set in stone. You can make adjustments as circumstances change. However, having a clear plan for the first year removes a tremendous amount of uncertainty. This is also a good time to think about guardrails. What actions will you take if the market performs exceptionally well? What actions will you take if the market performs poorly? Having those decisions thought through ahead of time can help you remain calm during periods of volatility. 5, map out your days. This is the most important step on the list. Money is important, but it is the least interesting part of retirement. The purpose of financial independence is not to accumulate money. The purpose is to create the freedom to spend your time in meaningful ways. When you first retire, you should absolutely enjoy the vacation phase. Sleep in, rest, read books, watch movies, work through some items on your to-do list. After a long career, you have earned that time. I want you to take it and enjoy it without regrets. But you should begin thinking about the life you want to build long term. What do you want to retire to? How will you spend time with family and friends? What hobbies do you wish to explore? Would you enjoy volunteering? Do you want to travel? How will you care for your physical and emotional well-being? How will you ensure your social needs are being met? You do not need a fully formed plan before retirement. In fact, I think it is really helpful to leave room for experimentation. Some of the most rewarding parts of retirement may be things you haven't even discovered yet. For me, retirement has included more volunteering, more time with family, more gardening, and opportunities I never would have anticipated while I was working. Retirement is not a destination. It's a new chapter in your life. So if you are preparing for early retirement, focus on more than your investments. You need to have a plan that you trust. You need to know your number, test drive your budget, plan for health care, plan your retirement paycheck, and most importantly, begin thinking about the life you want to live. Because the goal is not simply to retire early. The goal is to build a retirement that is rich with purpose, relationships, health, joy, and freedom. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.